What's the deal?
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 What's the deed? Hello and welcome to the debut episode of What's the Deed, where we find out what's the deal around Udeid Air Base. I am Staff Sergeant Stephen Atkins with the 379th Public Affairs Office, and I'm joined today by none other than Brigadier General Jason Armagost, the commander of the 379th Air Expeditionary Wing at Udeid Air Base. General Armagost, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, sir, the whole idea behind this podcast is to find out what's the deal around Udeid Air Base. So I got to ask you, what's the deal with Udeid Air Base?
So the opportunity to address a lot of people comes fairly often here as we do Right Start. And so I clarified my thinking about how do we talk about what we do at Udeid at Right Start. And one of the messages I try to convey to people is that their time here is filled with purpose and strategic meaning, because I will tell you what we do from Udeid as a collection of teams, a collection of services, active duty, guard, reserve, coming together from many different locations, affects the three core areas, core functions of the Air Force: vigilance, reach, and power, every day throughout the theater. And that sense of purpose that they carry through whatever they're doing for however long they are here really is meaningful for the theater.
Very good. So to sum up, what's the deal with Udeid? There it is. We're huge.
We're a strategic hub.
Absolutely.
And the hundreds and thousands of people we see through here doing many different things, wearing many different patches, wearing all the different services uniforms, come together to really accomplish strategic things.
Awesome. So what message do you have for current and future Udeid airmen?
So that's one of the things I try and touch on in Right Start, because we have thousands of people here doing critical work 24/7, but I want them to understand what they are a part of as they work to build their teams in their shops, as they travel to forward locations and come back here. The deal with the airmen's time, and the soldiers and the sailors and the Marines who come to us as well, is that I want to help remind them that they're part of a much greater whole. The effect they have is not just what they're doing at 2 o'clock in the morning in a unobserved corner of the base. It is adding up to regional stability. It's adding up to deterrence and power projection and movement of critical supplies and capabilities around the theater.
Okay. So you often say, and you say it at Right Start as well, that airmen should leave it better than they found it. So, well, I've got to ask you, sir, how are you leaving it better than you found it as the 379th Commander?
How we've worked together with the Qataris in the time since my arrival, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the relationships we've developed, the processes we've improved upon, the vision we have for how this base changes and grows as a strategic location in the future. So my objective, and I said it today to General Mubarak, the Chief of Staff of the Qatari Air Force, is I want to preserve the relationships and expand them for the next commander, so that he walks into built-up relationships that allow him to really take it to the next level.
Very good. All right. Sir, any final thoughts with us on our debut podcast here?
This is a good example of airmen coming in and owning mission, right? So we say that again, to go back to Right Start, that's one of the key messages is, hey, if you find a way to do something, or something that can be done to improve communication flow, take ownership of your local space, then do it. Don't wait for us to tell you to do it. Just start doing it in a professional manner and handle things. And this, I think, is a good example of how we evolve and change and grow.
All right. Again, sir, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us today. And stay tuned for another edition of What's the Deed, where we find out what's the deal around Udeid Air Base.